We will call this meeting to order. This is a meeting of the Committee of the Whole. It's about 5:10 p.m. on February 4th. We're here to discuss Councilman Beatrice's legislation that was put into committee, proposed ordinance number 7. Date committed January 21st of this year. Councilman Beatrice, you have the floor.
Yeah, so I brought Marcus back again, so if we have any questions. And I also just took at a couple locations of pictures of what I was trying to explain. They're not the best pictures, but I've talked to each one of you guys for the most part, and I believe all of you have the same issues in your district. I know last time when we brought this up, they started talking about like tractor trailer cabs and all that, and which would be a nuisance to if somebody was there next door to them, but I wasn't, that's not what I was talking about. That's not where my complaints have been. My complaints have been mostly, you can see by the pictures, where you have people operating businesses out of their house, where they have multiple trailers, multiple, payloaders, plows. The one place in North Utica, they actually were next to the woods, and nobody really knows who owned the property. They took it upon themselves to cut trees down and move all the property and move the vehicles over there, and I've had multiple complaints. I talked to Marcus, when codes would go there, they would come back and tell me, Marcus would come back and tell me that there's really nothing that they can do about it. I know like last year on Lorraine Ave, we had a guy bought a bus, and it sat there for, I'm pretty sure it's gone now, sat there for almost a year while he was remodeling it. Just stuff like that. I know I talked to you, Joe, you have the same issue. Talked to Bob, you had the issue. So it's just something, and we're not here, Marcus will speak of it too, we're not really here to go, as codes guys, to go out and look for all problems. It's more or less the people that are nuisance, when there's a problem, they have something to help us out with. So that's what I'm trying to do. So, Marcus, you want to talk on it?
Marcus, before you start, can you just tell me the difference between this legislation and what's on the books now, and how it helps you kind of alleviate that? Because I think that's kind of the only
that's
question.
the gist, right?
Yeah,
so
please.
When you guys amended the zoning ordinance, you took out what was on the books. So there's nothing on the books. There's something specific for school buses now that came since, but there's nothing on the books now for what vehicles aren't allowed in the city. It used to be a weight limit, which was tough for us as codes because we don't have the ability like police to look up DMV records. So like we would kind of guess, well, that looks like it's over the weight, but we don't have the weight of that vehicle unless we have its VIN number. So, we go up there trying to get the VIN number or whatever, but some of them are parked in the back. So this was better because it just, and you guys can amend it all you want. It just explicitly bans the actual vehicles we don't want. And there were some edge cases, like a food truck, right? Like that's an edge case. So food trucks aren't in there, but me and Joe worked on what exactly he wanted to see. So box trucks are in there, buses are in there. So huge food trucks wouldn't be in there, but like a van would be fine with a window in it, So it's really up to the council what they don't want to see in neighborhoods. We get it mostly, I'll be honest, like we have some yards like Joe have yards, but we get it a lot of times with the semis when people run them in the driveway to warm them up. The smoke bothers the neighbors, the exhaust.
Noise.
Yeah, the noise in the exhaust, and some of the truck drivers leave at night. So that's where we'll hear about it in codes. But yeah, it's up to you guys.
Really quick question: does this obviously doesn't pertain to idling trucks?
So the
'Cause
word
I remember in North Utica at the Riverside Center, well, wherever, they had trucks or tractor trailers that would sit overnight and just stay there, and they would hear the idling components of it, and that was a problem. So I didn't know if does this entail that, or is that something totally different, or do we have to include that also into
It
this?
depends on if you want to. So the word that we use in this legislation very intentionally was keeping. So it's not parking, it's not storing, it's keeping. If you keep the truck on your property, then it's illegal. So if we have more than one instance of idling, I would say that was keeping. If we get one call about idling at a property and we only see it once, probably say, okay, that's something that's not repetitive. Right.
And the other thing that I talked about last time, kind of like when they come in front of the zoning board, 4-foot fence is the minimum. But some people want a 6-foot fence, and they come and give their case. So if there is a complaint, and the guy, let's say, for example, it's summertime, a guy's got a food truck, and there's a complaint, somebody's really complaining, making a big thing, they could come up and we can amend that to give that guy a permit to do that. So, again, it's not to try to hurt anybody, it's to try to help these guys. I just got frustrated when you call, and all of you guys probably do the same thing. You call up, and they send codes there, and you say, what happened? And they say, there's nothing, it's nothing in there we can do. And, I mean.
We got
So-
another one on Lamont Place where the guy has a tow truck. Parks his tow truck there sometimes he doesn't. He has a commercial business to tow cars. It's just easier for him to sometimes drive straight home after the tow. The tow truck is loud, it bothers his neighbors. Right now, there's nothing that would stop that and tell him, no, you gotta park there and switch cars.
See, my biggest concern, like something like that, if a guy's driving a tow truck and he comes home and he's leaving home 7 o'clock and he's leaving at 6 in the morning, that's one thing. My biggest concern was multiple vehicles in areas. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Where they got, you could drive by the house and you know they're running a business out of that house.
Looks like a
They
construction
have,
site.
exactly.
And you
That's
guys-
where my biggest issue is.
Councilwoman Colosimo Testa is talking about
That's-
what's currently on the books. It's currently against the law to run a commercial business from your home. Just because the vehicles are there, it's been hard for us to prove in court that they're running the business from their home.
Like somebody who's selling cars.
Selling cars is illegal, but I gotta prove that they're selling them. The only way that we've been able to successfully prove it, so we set up rules on how to enforce it. The only way we've been able to prove somebody is running a business from their home is if they advertise or have signage. If the numbers aren't written on the cars, they don't have for sale signs, and the cars aren't advertised online, it's really hard for us to prove. Unless we find somebody they sold it to or something, which never happened. So sales, we look for signs and advertisements. So if you want to stop a commercial activity in a business, those are the two things we tell the neighbors we need. They have to advertise it, or they have to have a sign there. Otherwise, I can't prove it. Like, everybody claims their neighbor has a hair salon because women are walking in and out. I don't know that. I don't know.
And again, that's a good example because there's certain areas where people have came in front of the zoning and got a permit to do that.
Yeah, you can have a residential.
I know there's a couple, I know in my area, there's a couple that they had to come. That's a good example of this right here.
Yeah, but the neighbors gotta be notified. But yeah, the ratification, so initially, when we came up with this legislation, and mostly Councilman Beatrice, we came up with the legislation, there was an appeal process. We ended up turning that appeal process into the council can just pass to allow it, because the council is the one that's closest to the people.
And Marcus, I think with any piece of legislation that we pass, whether it's through codes, fire, police, whatever, you can use your discretion if you need be when going and understanding a situation. Like, it might look like it's on surface that something's wrong, but if you see, oh, maybe it's not wrong and they might be violating the code, you can talk to them, say, hey,
Yeah,
it might
you
not
guys
be
know
the
a
right
city,
thing to
right?
do, but I think
I'm-
that this is just
I'm the
a,
commissioner of codes. You know the city. Like, if you got a truck on Pelletier Ave, there's 2 houses, and your neighbor doesn't care, I'm not gonna break your chops, right? Like, it's situation by situation. My officers get worried about that every time they see these laws. So every time you guys propose a law, I bring it to my department. We talk about it as a staff meeting. What do you guys think? This is the law we came up with. But these laws, they're just worried about more on our plate, additional duties. Like, okay, now I gotta look for this. Now I gotta look for this. And what I told them is what I'll tell you guys. I don't look at these things as obligations. I look at them as tools. It's not something that we're gonna go around the city scouring for huge vehicles. But if there's something particularly disruptive to a neighborhood or that doesn't look like it's in concert with the neighborhood, then we'll cite.
Well, they'd be going there anyways, but in the past, they'd be able to they'd go there and they'd say there's nothing they can do about it.
Now they can do it, right?
So this is mostly gonna be looked at like complaints?
Yes.
Generally, that's how I plan on enforcing it. But when I say that, there's no. It's the law. We're gonna tell our officers to follow the law. Our officers do patrols every day. So if they see a vehicle, they send a guy a notice, but I would assume that most of these are gonna be complaint-based, because you don't wanna inhibit, if it's not bothering anybody.
Why stir a pot if it's not bothering?
Yeah, you don't wanna inhibit somebody's ability to make a living, right? If somebody drives a tow truck, or somebody has a food truck, I'm not there unless the thing is disruptive to the neighborhood.
All right, Dan, we got a problem with this? All right, I think we can move it, right?
Anyone want to go around for any questions, anything?
Sorry, Joe.
No, I'm all set with this. I appreciated the week to learn more on it and review it, so thank you, everyone.
I'm good. Thank you.
Yep, thanks Marcus and Joe for drafting this.
I think it's great if it's just used as complaint only and just not going out looking for problems.
Yeah.
All right, any questions about codes?
The only last question that I have, is there anything else that you see in the code that, when they pass the zoning code, that is not in there that could be a problem to you that, again, I mean, like convenience stores, now we go into this, that was in the zoning code previously, that's not in there now, that we might need to address?
The only thing that I would say is that, like, over time, you find those things because people are used to them and they're not there. And I think we've addressed the three major ones that we found. You had a particular concern about the distances between convenience stores. We added that language explicitly. Now, this zoning code replaced that with a licensing process. Now we got both. You have this, and then the other thing that had came up that the other zone amended was, remember we had the big chicken controversy, right? And so,
Which honestly, we went through that before, and then it was removed, and then you went back to it,
Yeah.
and kind of went through the same thing. So it was kind of like, how did you take that out when it was already on the zoning code? But,
Or
I mean,
what-
obviously,
whatever.
Is it in now?
No,
It's not.
no fowls or chickens or.
Okay.
no.
And before you leave, I do have a question.
I had a question.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
That's all I
Not so
got.
much on this, but with
whatever you want.
all the stores that I see, a lot of these stores, that their windows are covered, they're not supposed to, the windows aren't supposed to be covered with advertisement, right?
Correct. If you got, it's.
I mean, I go down, you know, on, what is it, on Court Street, Bleecker and all those streets. Their whole front ends are covered with signs.
It seems like
You
that.
can't even see in there. if
About
there's
they
anything
hang the
going on.
rugs out.
Right, so it seems like that, but, so I got one officer, my codes coordinator is in charge of all the corner stores in Utica. He licenses each one, and he's supposed to do periodic inspections to make sure they're in compliance. If we get a complaint, we'll respond to it. It seems like there's a lot of stuff in their windows, and I think maybe I've seen some, I'm not doubting what you say. The rule is it's supposed to be 50% of the window coverage. So they can put signs in their windows up to 50% of the window coverage, and see-through stuff doesn't count. So a lot of those windows are like wrapped, like your car would be, like a tint almost, and light goes through it. So that's not an illegal sign. An illegal sign is if I put a big Newport poster up on the, you know what I mean? So it's more nuanced than you think, but we'll definitely look at them. If you got particular ones, I got one officer. I send them, go make sure that their windows aren't covered. And we've made people pull stuff out of their windows before, widen their aisles. The convenience stores are frustrating to me, and you know, I'm the one that advocated for a licensing policy. The convenience stores are a pain in the tail.
Well, I mean, how many people you have on codes on the street?
Like in patrol, like 6.
All right, so I mean, you got 6 people that should be at least letting that one particular person know that, listen, I'm driving by this by this store, why don't we take a look at it? Is that happening?
Yeah, so when I meant to say that I had one person, it's not only one person that regulates the code in the city when it comes to convenience stores. It's just I have somebody whose job it is to check on them.
Right.
So if they see something in patrol that they think is wrong, they have every right to treat it like everybody else. Plus, we do every 3-year fire inspections on them, which our whole department. So convenience stores are supposed to get visited once every 2 years for being a convenience store, once every 3 years as a fire inspection, and in the daily neighborhood patrols.
Katie, did you want to go? I had one more thing that I wanted to piggyback on that. Okay.
Do you want to stay on this topic? Because I have questions about the legislation for tonight, about the billboard.
No, the
sign.
only thing I wanted to say is, I mean, Marcus, I think that with 6 guys patrolling the whole city and doing what you do, I think it's a lot, especially considering the fact of ticketing sidewalks for not being, shoveled or things like that. So, I mean, it is kind of difficult to take in all those tasks in one day. So, I mean, is there anything from your standpoint that, again, goes back to the fact that you think we could help in kind of streamlining any violations through, I mean, I would like a system between, hey, if you have the fire department, police department, codes department going around and we see something wrong, like, I wish there was a system that we had that we could report something to go back on other than that 311 app.
Our new software is supposed to be better for that, so I hope that
I
helps.
did hear that.
You
I
can
did
have
hear
your
that.
own appointment. That's one of the reasons we got the new software. Holes that I've seen in the codes department that I've expressed in the past, and I've had these concerns forever. I don't know if they're willing to say, but the three concerns I've had is a lot of people know when we work, and they do construction after we work, especially in scenic and historic districts, because it's more expensive to do scenic and historic districts. So I've asked for overtime to do on weekends. I've never been given overtime. It's because they're union contracts, I have to pay them overtime. I can't just have them do it. And it's frustrating to me because I get calls from, like, there's, in every scenic and historic district, there's like 2 or 3 neighbors that really believe in that stuff. And they call and he put up new siding, he put up a new porch, and we weren't there to stop it. And so the weekends are tough. The other thing that's tough is the ride-alongs, like with DPW, I'd like to do that, but then I would need overtime to do that. Because if somebody improperly disposes of green waste, DPW can't write them a ticket. So they're just picking up their waste if codes didn't catch it earlier in the day. So that's, a lot of people don't comply because they just put it out after 4:30. And so that's having guys be able to work those shifts, and plus they work better sometimes when they're on their own, it's peaceful, it's the office, because I think what a lot of council people or administrative people that I talk to don't understand is how many appointments they have every day. My codes officers will have between 5 and 8 appointments per day. So you want, like, everybody on the council and the mayor and administrative people always want us to patrol the neighborhoods. But like, those appointments are their first obligation. So a guy might have to write up 8 cases and be in 8 different apartments in a day, and then you wanted them to catch the neighbor that put their garbage out improperly on top of that, and they always don't have that extra time, you know? So those things, and the other thing is just the volumes that are coming down. I mean, we're gonna amend the vacant housing registry, and you know, right now, we're 1 secretary short in the department, and we're gonna amend the vacant housing registry. They're looking at a permit for chickens. They're looking at other legislation that could require permits and patrols. And then after a while, it's kind of like, you know, you send me tools like this, okay, they're doing the same thing, they can react to it. You send me a new permit or legislation, I gotta figure out who's gonna do that.
And Marcus, we have a piece of legislation that's in committee that I submitted quite some time ago. I mean, previously when I was a council before I got reelected, is I think that would be an easier, streamlined thing to do as far as vacant registries for buildings. And I just think that would be a lesser burden on you. So if you are to amend it, at least take into consideration that piece of legislation
Well,
that we have in
we
the
talked
books.
about it
I
together.
know.
But like the mayor has specific things he wants to see that I'm part of the administration, and I think are good ideas, and I think legal's working on that legislation, so we'll see how they all turn out. They've been in contact with me too. The concern that I have about vacant housing is, first of all, keeping the physical registry, right? So we're anticipating 200-300 properties on there. Keeping it up to date, making sure you have an owner, making sure you have a person. That's a big administrative task for a secretary that's already kind of stretched. She's taking all these phone calls, all these appointments, she's scheduling all our regular inspections, she's doing all our FOIL requests, she's doing all our building permits, and then she's got to keep track of these 300 properties with the codes officers. So that's a tough one. The other one is identifying them as vacant requires a lot of homework. So you got to make sure that either the utilities are off, there's like 5 things that qualify. You get a neighbor deposition, the utilities are off, codes officer observation from in the neighborhood, the windows are boarded, so you gotta confirm that it's vacant. Then you have to do the follow-up of getting a reuse plan in place with the owner. And so somebody's gotta approve that plan's gotta review that plan's gotta monitor that plan. This, if you guys pass this, I think it'll really help with the problem. I've grown on this law. When it was first proposed, but then after I spoke to people,
Well, there was a lot of things wrong with the law, and it should never
With the
been.
original
It should have
one,
never
right.
been passed in place of what it was, and I don't care who sponsored it or who, I didn't vote for it,
Right.
because I knew that there was holes in it. With that said, I still think that it's the easier route to go to that vacant, or the registry of apartment complexes and so on and so forth, to be able to get somebody that's designated to it, rather than having to prove all that, because now it puts it on the homeowners or those that own the
Oh,
home.
that's what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
so
sorry, I'm
that
sorry.
legislation, the issue, and we never really talked about that, so I'm glad we can now.
Well, we have, but it's been years.
It's been years.
Yeah.
The only issue I had with that was having a property manager is supposed to be, and having his thing displayed in the apartment. So having a property manager is supposed to be there now. If we have it displayed on the apartment, it's cool. The only thing that I kind of worry about, but not really, I think it's a good law, is just that it's gonna change over time, and it's gonna be, so the fire department inspects those buildings. And so it's gonna be the task on them to call that number when they do their inspections and make sure it's the same guy. You know, because I don't want the guys to have the wrong information and calling the wrong numbers. So as long as they keep it current and we have a way to keep in touch and make sure it hasn't changed.
And
You
I
know,
think
these
that
people
was
change
like
property managers
it was like a
crazy.
yearly update, and I mean,
Yeah.
we can obviously amend that, but I don't know.
But
That's
no,
all I
it's-
was
it
saying,
makes
is that
sense,
it
so
would,
we know
it
what
would
we're
be
doing.
easier, I think, to keep a hold of who's in those apartments if we could.
And a lot of our properties, I mean, we could talk about them now. We talked about Genesee Towers in staff meeting for like 45 minutes upstairs. A lot of these properties, man, that are these huge buildings, we could think about something like Jack was talking about, something what happens when the elevator doesn't work, or how can we tweak those laws. But a lot of those properties, we're really good with the staff. We know the staff there, they work there. The problems they're having are from corporate. You know, the boiler breaks, you have a maintenance person in there. If they can't fix the boiler, you know, in an apartment like that, it could be a $150,000 problem. They gotta get $150,000 from Ohio and nobody can get in touch with them.
Right.
It's corporate. I mean, really, the LLC things, and every codes commissioner across New York State will tell you this, it's a limited liability corporation. They design LLCs to limit themselves from liability. And it's hard for us to prosecute people as officers of LLCs. And having LLCs is, I guess it's an American constitutional right that we can't do anything about.
I found an LLC that went to another LLC, that went to another LLC, that ended up being like from Michigan, and it's like, how is it even humanly possible that somebody's able to get that many LLCs under different names? And
Right.
fortunately, there's a registry that you can look it up, but it's not easy to find out who they were. That's why I said, I mean, I remember when we were talking, and maybe not specifically with you, but maybe going to the water board. Like, somebody's got to pay the water,
Yeah,
the
we
water
do go to the
authority.
water
Yeah,
bill, who pays it.
and I know you guys
we
are
have
good
to
with that.
prove we have to prove to a judge not only that the person's a member of the LLC, that they're the officer responsible for the maintenance of that apartment inside the LLC.
Right, right.
So you might be a vice president of an LLC, but you're not responsible for that particular land portfolio. Coach brings you to court and you say, that's not my responsibility, and there's nothing we can do about it. It's the most frustrating thing on
And
the
that's,
planet.
and that's obviously a state issue too. That's why I kind of
Yeah,
think that.
some
like,
cities, I've looked it up, I've tried to get them and I don't know the answer. Some cities have charged a corporate tax, but now you're hurting businesses on top of,
Right.
because LLC is a corporation.
Right,
So
right.
they'll charge a higher tax rate for corporations to disincentivize people to register as LLCs. But again, now you're gonna hurt somebody that has a commercial business, so maybe it's a residential LLC tax, I don't know if that's legal.
Right, right. That's definitely something that we could look at. That's all I got. Thank you.
You had something?
Yeah, tonight we have this legislation for billboard signs. I don't know if
Yeah.
you were able to speak to that or what prompted
Yeah,
this.
I mean, from what I understand, there's just no billboard signs allowed, so that's a council thing. The ones that are there are grandfathered in, and we get sign permits. If they wanna put up a sign, I tell them no.
Okay, so we already don't.
No, we don't now because there's a moratorium, we always did.
Okay.
Billboards before were legal in the city, and this would make them illegal for additional billboards. The current ones that exist can stay there. I don't know how that goes for repairs, I think repairs should probably still be okay, but
So historically speaking with the billboards, once a special use permit's granted, is that in perpetuity or is there a time limit to that once it's granted?
it's always, as far as I know, it's always been in perpetuity. I've never, until this came up, I've never known of any limits on billboards at all.
I think that the problem that they're facing, and I could be speaking out of turn, but Brian Thomas brought it up, that there are more popping up, and it's kind of not in the general vicinity of where a billboard should go, but that's why we put the moratorium originally. going back to the fact of how are we going to regulate it as best we can so that it kind of coincides with the district that they're going in.
But you guys look at the policy
Right.
implications. I don't care.
Right.
I look at the code's implications. It's easier for me not to let anybody build a sign. So,
Right.
perfect.
The only, before we close this, Melissa just put us this piece of paper. We have like 25 minutes if you guys want to talk about it. The, for the fees for Val Bialis, or we can talk about it in 6 o'clock meeting. So, I don't know, you guys want to wait, or you want
We got a
to?
couple of minutes here, Joe.
I mean, it's a good time, right? We might as well talk.
Joe, you have a problem with that?
No, I think generally speaking, we should probably look at other municipalities in similarly situated circumstances
She's got
to
'em on the
determine
back
those, so we
here.
could talk about it.
Yeah, she's got them on the back here.
Talking about the ski area, right?
Yeah, the ski areas. She looked that up. I mean, I'm looking at it here. It looks,
There's Woods Valley, Macaulay Mountain, Snow Ridge.
yeah.
I got a question on this. Kids that go to school, do they still get an ID with their picture on it?
No,
Only if they have a season pass.
no, he's talking about like actual kids that go to school. No, they don't have a physical pass. They have an ID number that they go by. But you can't, that's not even something close to being able to release publicly.
Well, the reason I'm saying it, my point on this is that, you know, we're always complaining that there's not enough in the city for kids to do. And if these kids want to go skiing like every day, $35 a day, I think during, let's say, their winter break it would be too much even for me to dole out that much every day. I just think if they're in the Utica public school system, that we should make an amendment on that and, you know, and figure out, you know, what's
If you go to
what's
Woods,
really reasonable. I know, but.
but I'm just saying, if you go to Woods Valley, because there's nothing in our vicinity, it costs about $150 to $170
these-
a day
yeah.
to go. And whatever you want to compare those to, I mean, I have no problem adjusting that. I just think that you have to pay for the cost of who you have patrolling those. And Marcus, thank you. I don't know if you're involved in this
No,
anymore.
I'm not.
I'm sorry that we
I'm
jumped in a
hanging out.
bunch
Yeah, I
of
don't
topics.
care. I'm here all the time.
But, you know,
Yeah.
so thank you for answering the questions that you have. I mean, we jumped into another topic, so I didn't want to just ignore the fact that
No,
you were
I'm
here
fine.
and, you know, we're getting into something else. But I think that if you really look at what it costs to have to travel, because there really isn't something in our area to be able to ski at. I mean, I know that I know my husband and my son are not going anywhere on winter break because they want to go home. They want to stay home and actually ski there because they did it last year and enjoyed themselves. So just to look at the total picture of it, I mean, you know, we've got to look at where we're going and how we're getting there, and to be able to have something in our backyard, we've got to make it feasible so that we're not running into the picture again of not being able to fulfill skiing in a place that we live in. So
Right,
just
but-
something.
no,
I mean,
I agree, but I'm looking over here on this, ages 70 and over, $5. You know, I'm looking at military, $25, military junior, $25 on these other ones. But yet, we're gonna charge our young kids in the city, they got really nothing to do in the winter. We're
Well,
gonna charge them $35 a day to go skiing.
20 for 4 hours. They ain't, that's still a lot. I mean, you're almost.
$35 for a full day and 20 for night.
but that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
who goes for a full day?
And here's the
I
thing,
used to go
again,
skiing for a full day,
$58 to go 45 minutes away. Again, I'm not disagreeing with the amounts. I have no problem if you guys are in the super majority. You can make them $0 if you want to. My point is that I don't want to get into the point where we can no longer afford to be able to keep the ski lift open and the hard work that we've gotten in order to get it open. So whatever you guys decide, that's on you guys. But here's the thing, what I'm going to say.
$35 a day is a
But Jack,
lot of money for a
again,
kid to go
it's
skiing.
adult ages 13 to 64 is $58 a day, and you have to drive 45 minutes to
Yeah,
get
well,
there.
Snow Ridge is not.
It's
not
Woods
the same
Valley.
as
It's
skis.
Woods Valley.
Well, hold on a minute, but
Right,
I
that's like a third of the size of what.
Okay,
what
but
they're
like,
going
who's
over
to
there.
say that
Well,
we-
guys, hold on.
haven't had skiing.
I get both arguments. I mean, you got to find a balance though of making it affordable so people actually go, because that would also close the ski the ski lift in the area if it's too expensive. But if it's too cheap and you're operating at a loss, I mean, it's the same scenario. So I think we have to research this further and find that sweet spot.
So I think that half point
Of
of
what
what
it's
they're
gonna
able
be.
to do in Woods Valley for 4 hours a day, I mean, we're less than that.
I don't-
Who's to say that people aren't going, I mean, I know I will no longer go to Woods Valley because I can now ski in Utica, New York. Like, and I know a lot of people that feel that way. So again, if you want to add discounted rates or so on and so forth to students and things like that, I have no problem doing that.
Maybe you do something like on the vacation weeks, you give them a week pass. And
Jake, that's something, or
yeah, Jim.
Joe, that's something that I have no problem
Yeah,
doing. I'm just
right.
saying, if you look at the rates across the
that's-
scale,
we call-
we're less than, more than half of what other people charge.
I'm not arguing with you on that.
Right, I wasn't never arguing with you, I was just kind of proving my
But
point.
what I'm getting at is that.
I was arguing
I
with
don't
you,
think
no.
I don't think our inner city kids are gonna be able to afford $35
Well,
a day.
can I tell
to
you
go
about your
ski.
inner city kids? They're not gonna have skis to go anyways.
Well, we're getting
not
to the
renting.
point.
Well,
that
you
we
could be able
said-
to rent skis down the road, and and maybe they could buy a used pair fairly cheap. We're looking for these kids for something to do during the winter,
Right.
and we're charging them,
Right,
an
but you gotta pay
astronomical amount of
sometimes-
I
sometimes
mean,
at the end of
for
the day, you
for a
gotta pay.
70-year-old guy, they're charging $5. For somebody in the military, they're charging
So we don't have the
25. I
military.
mean, we need to reduce it.
Yeah, well,
It's-
that's
it's
why
too
this
high.
is here, it's for us to
That's what I'm
talk
saying,
about.
you could do a
We
scale
can
of
do that.
adults,
We can
teens,
put
juniors,
something-
I just
seniors,
don't agree
college.
with the rates. That's all I'm saying
But Jake,
right now.
you don't have to agree with them. This is why it's in front of us.
Right.
And that's all I'm saying is that
I'm
if
just
you.
making my opinion,
I
Sam.
have- I have
I'm not
no-
demanding anything here. I'm just giving you my
I
opinion.
have no problem if you want to go through adults, teens, juniors, seniors, college and active military, 70 and
All right,
70
hold on.
plus
So-
and kids under.
So
Can I
it-
just say one?
You could go through
Councilwoman,
that.
go ahead.
I mean, that's what it's here
I just
for.
want 1 second.
Hold on, hold on.
An actual committee
that's
meeting that
what
we
it's
need
here
to
for.
sit
Hold
down.
on, I was just gonna say,
Yeah.
piggyback on what Councilman Medico mentioned, if we wanna call a specific committee meeting for this topic, we can certainly do so, but right now, Councilwoman Wazowski has the floor, go ahead.
I wasn't finished though, and I've got to go, so really quickly. They're doing a soft reopening on February 13th.
Right.
And that's in time for the kids that are on spring break. So I think that if you guys want to discuss this, you call for a special meeting tomorrow and get it to the,
Yeah, that's
get it
why
going.
it's here.
Because we've got to get these rates going so that they know who they can employ, who they have to pay, how much money it's going to bring in. And that's all I have to say. So I would like to call for a special meeting tomorrow at 5:30 or 5 o'clock to get it going on the discussion. But I have to go, so I just want to.
I think a special meeting for tomorrow would be up to the president. I think he's the
Yeah.
only one who could call
Yeah,
within
so that's
24
why I said,
hours.
if you guys are available, I have no
Yeah,
problem
we gotta
calling
get it done.
a special meeting.
Okay,
They're
can I just say
Councilwoman
something
Wazowski,
now,
go ahead.
please? Thank you. No, I didn't. You gotta go. You're fine. I just would like to see how much it costs to have, what does the budget look like? So we can know how to figure out what we're going to.
Yeah, I mean, that's
You know,
a,
like, how do we figure out rates if we don't have the numbers in front of us of what ski patrol costs, everything on there?
well, that's fair too. I think in the past several weeks, we've gotten memos from the administration seeking ski patrol volunteers and then
Yeah, I was
for a
told
cost.
today
So I mean,
that
do we
they're
have a
set
final
to go.
list of if there's been any hires, any potential interviews? So we have that.
They said they're list to go. You gotta remember something, tomorrow they're testing the 16 guns, the water to make the snow. That stuff all costs a lot of money. I mean, so, I get it.
I'm
but
not
at the-
disagreeing.
No, I get it, but at the end of the day, to go skiing for $20, I mean, you can't go any cheaper than that, to be honest with you.
And
That's-
there's no legislation for the ski, for
What's
these,
that?
we don't have any actual legislation then for these ski prices, right?
No, this is for us to discuss.
Right, but then we have to actually pass legislation for them to accept the fees. So I didn't know if anybody made
Right,
actual
well,
legislation.
that's why it's like,
Okay. But yeah, just in the discussion part, thank you.
but, I mean,
I'm with Jack on rates too. I'd like to look them over again too.
We ain't got much time.
Well,
I
we
agree.
have to do it though.
But
I mean, I'm a
Well, just
skier, so.
let's chew on it and we'll bring it in tomorrow,
Okay.
we'll discuss it, we'll try. to-
yeah, I don't have a
we'll
problem
set
with
the
that. I
rates
can make it
tomorrow.
5:30 tomorrow.
Okay, Joe, 5:30 good?
Well, Rack
For
will
a
call it.
special meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll need the president to call a special meeting. I think
Mr.
that's
President, you go
the
with that?
24-hour notice
Yeah.
requirement.
All right, we gotta get it out there.
Well, that's another thing, notice that we can take a look and talk about it.
We have to provide proper notice if we're gonna do it within a day.
Why don't we do it, listen, we already had meetings twice this week and everything. Friday, you can't do it. Why don't you just do it on Monday?
That'd be much better.
No?
Okay, tomorrow.
Can we make our 25th meeting the 11th?
What do you think tomorrow?
What about Friday?
Everybody seems to be able to do it tomorrow. I
Oh,
can't.
okay, I didn't think they were gonna. I mean,
I could do, I'd be willing to come tomorrow. Anybody can't do it, come tomorrow?
5 o'clock?
I can't do 5. I can do 5:30 or 6.
5:30. What, you can't make it available? Are you okay with what we decide then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, may I say something?
Chairman's over there.
You chairman of the committee of the whole?
Yes, Judge, go ahead.
Good looking guy over there.
I think you have to keep in mind that first of all, whether you believe it or not, my wife and I were skiers. We used to ski at Woods Valley all the time, and even then it was very expensive. Woods Valley, how they didn't go bankrupt for about 5 summers in a row, or winters. Now last year we had a 1970s winter. This year we have a 1960s, 70s winter. I haven't seen this in a long time. And these ski places, they are profit making. When you set your rates for a municipal opportunity, you don't look to private enterprises who have to make a profit to stay in business. How Woods Valley survived those preceding 5 years, I don't know. So I think you have to keep in mind that your attractiveness as a city is built upon your facilities. You show me another city that has a ski operation right in the middle of the city. It has swimming pools in the city. It has a golf course in the city that, unlike the ski loft, our golf course can stand up with anybody. The ski slope has one hill, really.
3.
It used to have what they called the bunny hill for the beginning skier. That was discontinued. A lot of children go there with toboggans and tubes, and they usually go there free. They just come down the hill, that's all. But because it's secure from traffic, it's an attraction. Utica, in fact, just the other day, my wife and I were driving by there, and I said, gee, here we are in the middle of January, and that ski tow isn't working, and it didn't work last year, as far as I know. What Utica has to offer is so unique, and the people who go there on that one hill, you got to be a pretty good skier to go down the main hill of Valley View, which is really
There's
the
3 of them,
hill.
Judge, all 3 of them are active now.
You got to be really pretty good, and for the beginners, it's really not the place to go because we don't really have the bunny hill anymore. That I
Wait, Judge,
recall.
excuse me for 1 second?
I'm not arguing with you.
No, but we
I'm
do
just
have all,
saying to you,
we do have
you've
all
got
3
to-
hills now.
Joe,
You spoke
What?
that we have 1, there's 3. And
Pardon me?
there's 3 now. There's 3 hills that are working. There's the
one
bun,
or 3 wheels were
there's-
working.
they are, that's what
I
they're
go by
doing.
there every day.
I
don't
know,
see
nothing
anybody
is not
skiing
open
there.
yet. Tomorrow they are testing all of it. As far as the toboggan and what you're talking about, there's no charge for that. This
I'm
is,
saying to you, the ski tow
Is
is a
what-
very limited ski tow, and we are not a profit corporation. Woods Valley, the place in Old Forge, and the
But
other
that's why you're
famous
charging
place.
half of
These
what they're
places
charging.
are profit making, or else they fold and go bankrupt.
right.
So
But that's why you're charging half.
I'm not arguing with you,
I know,
Joseph.
I'm just I'm
What
stating
I'm
what you're
saying
saying.
to you is that $35 a day is a lot of money
Yeah.
for people who want to go ski in the city and have a city facility. Just like you can't make Valley View Yanadasas because that isn't what it is. It's a municipal golf course, and even then they complain. But I think the rate that we play there is pretty competitive. and it seems to be running all right. It's always well kept every year. It's a great golf course for those of you who play golf or don't. And it's one of the things that I'm very proud about Utica. Now we have a skating rink. We always had a skating rink when I was growing up, and then Mr. Hanna decided to build a basketball court up there instead of a skating rink. Well, thank God we now have a very attractive skating rink. Utica is a heck of a place to live in. It's got a good police department, it's got a good fire department, it's got a good public works department, and
Great
it
codes department.
has facilities that very few cities have.
It codes enforcement.
But you can't, but we can't price the poor person out of having access and being able to use these facilities. Now, that's just, it's my opinion. I'm not
You're
telling you
100%
how to
right.
legislate. That's why I don't like to go to committee meetings.
Joe.
I'm just telling you that when it comes to the ski toad, the golf course, the skating rink and all that, I have a lot of experience in that area. And I know money, even when we were making pretty good money, I was making pretty good money when I lived out in Barneville, Russia. Woods Valley was expensive for us. And I think it was $18 a day, I think, in those days.
That's a lot.
It was a lot of money back in 1972, 73. So anyway, I'm just saying that when you set the rate, keep in mind who you would like to see go there, who don't go there. And you want to think of it as you got to be a well-to-do person.
Well, there's only a small
use our
percentage of people that
facility,
ski.
Right.
Yeah, Jack,
Joe.
your
So
idea
anyway,
is-
that's all I have to say,
Yeah.
and I really don't like to do this.
No, that's
and
okay. You did a good
and
job.
I'm sorry if I overstepped my bounds.
No, Judge, thank you, and I think the point is well taken, and right now we have a few minutes until our pre-meeting gets started at 6, and we could further this discussion then along with the other legislation.
I just
Councilman
got one
Beatrice, you
thing to
have,
say.
okay.
So when this all started back, I grew up 74, 75. The way it worked at the Parkway, everybody, you got a pass. Most parents bought you a season pass for Christmas. And back then, it was over $100. Okay, so I'm just telling you, that's what we need to do, is not worry about your day pass or your 4-hour pass. You need to come up with a way to buy a week pass where somebody gets a deal, or a season pass. But if you could see what's going on right now, we're in February, we just got all the water and everything done for snowmaking, and we're trying to get this opened as soon as possible. So maybe we do something for rates for this year, and then see where we go. But the way it works, the way most people who are gonna use that, their parents are gonna buy the kids a season pass. Just the way, Judge, just the way Valley View, most of the people buy a season's pass at Valley View. So it's the same type thing. So that's just what I got
All right,
to
thank
say.
you, Councilman Carcone.
Jack, so your concern is the kids, to give them a break.
I think that's a very good idea, Mr. Councilman.
I just think
Yeah,
that
that's-
we're,
Yeah, the only problem is how do we
30% of the people in the
identify-
city are below the poverty level. Frank.
How do I identify who the Utica kids are to give them?
Well, that's one of the
break?
questions I had, is
That's-
there a
that's the only
school
problem
pass?
we have with
Right.
it. I agree with giving the kids.
You're
a
not
break.
gonna get a lot of kids. A lot of kids don't ski. Our population's changed from the '70s.
Right.
where
And they don't
But I
have to
disagree.
You
I,
can
no.
get
You're not
ski
gonna get a lot of.
boards.
those
No, but I
kids
think
don't
people
ski.
aren't skiing because they don't have access to it. We have an opportunity, we're gonna open Ski Hill back up, kids will have access to
But
it.
if they own a pair of skis and boots,
Right.
I mean, that's expensive equipment itself, so.
And you're gonna get a lot of people
We're
who
gonna
get out of
support-
work. You're gonna get
a
a,
skateboard.
Let's talk about this tomorrow.
Yeah,
We're running out of
all right.
time.
but you're gonna get a lot of people who go to Woods Valley and those places after work that will come here quick now.
If no one has anything else, we could adjourn this meeting and take a few minutes before the pre-meeting
Yeah,
begins.
motion to adjourn?
Second? All right, we're adjourned, thank you.
Good timing, Brian.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome, and we're about to start the meeting here. First thing we're going to go on, and I just saw that Ed walked out, so I'm going to hold off on this one on proposed ordinance number 1. It has to do with police sick time.
It was just
As soon as
a-
he comes back in, we'll question him on that.
Sure, it was with the unemployment benefits. They
Say
just had
again?
the unemployment benefits. They were short on the $20,000 for the projection, and
Well, I'll just ask him when he comes
Sure.
in. The next one is proposed ordinance number 2, ordinance waiving the residence requirement for the position of laborer. Mark, would you like to discuss that?
Yes, I have a gentleman that is 55 years old, knows the mechanic, knows what to do.
Is the diesel mechanic you're referring to, or?
I need a mechanic, I'm losing 2 mechanics. One resigned, one is gonna be leaving due to things we can't talk about right now. So, he's 55 years old, he knows everything I need to do, he knows what he's gotta do, and just need to hire him.
Is anyone on the council have a problem with this? All right, we'll be voting on that. The first one is going to be, this is for our deputy police chief. It concerns police unused sick time. Would you like to state anything on this, Ed?
it was.
If I knew anything about it, I would.
It was just for the,
I mean, I would, so,
it was for the unemployment benefits we had to cover.
yeah, I believe, so, just off the top of my head, that unused sick time was recently paid out, so I would assume this money is money that was budgeted for that wasn't used, and therefore, if that's the case, could be transferred to.
So you don't have a problem with this, right?
Again, just speaking off the cuff, Jack, I mean,
Okay.
as far as I know, I'm making an assumption that the unused sick time was already paid out, and this is what remains.
All right, and Katie, you're on the E&A. You are okay with this?
Yes, I voted yes.
And we're good with this, right?
Yes.
Any issues on this? Do I bring it around? All right. Next one is ordinance amending section 2-26-48 regarding sewer rentals. Now this is, the next 2 pages on 2 and number 3 and number 4. This is actually going to be part of the budget discussion. These amounts are going to be in the budget. So I recommend we put this in committee because it's going to be discussed during our budget time when we decide what we actually want the sewer rates to be. Any issues on this?
No, I'll just say ordinance 3 is 4% and ordinance 4 is a 6%. for
Right.
us to
State that
consider.
again, please.
Ordinance 3 is a 4% raise,
Right?
and then ordinance 4 is a 6% raise.
All right.
So we can
Everybody got
consider
that?
what to do.
Why is there, no, I don't.
All right.
Explain that. So why, what are we doing?
There's-
All right, what-
We either gotta pick which one we're gonna do?
Well, come budget time, these are actually budget lines, so when we actually get into the budget, we have to decide if we want to keep it at 4% or increase it to 6%.
I think
Apparently,
part,
there's a program that we're involved with. It's a 4-year program, which we had agreed on to increase our budget 4% on that for, I think, for 4 years to pay for some sewer maintenance that had been done in the city. Now, I think when we're talking with the engineers, this is a portion that we'll discuss with the engineer department, and he could explain it a little more in depth during budget time.
Yeah, I'm kinda curious, why is it in front of us now?
So am I. Okay.
I think also, sorry, I think part of the problem is early on, the first legislation we ever passed wasn't the correct 4%. So I think part of the 6%
Did
would.
we fix that? 'Cause we went through that.
We tried fixing it a couple times. I don't know.
So
So
what,
we'll put it in
this
committee.
is a ongoing increase. It's a 4-year increase. When they did the maintenance contract on the sewers, that we were gonna do it 4 or 6% to pay for it. I think it's, like I said, it's a 4-year plan. I'm not sure if we're in year 2 or 3 on it. So that's why, come budget time, we could discuss this with the engineering department.
And I think
Hey, would
to,
you, go ahead.
Well, I can just say, I can speak
Yeah.
to as to why you're getting it now. Typically, this was done up until the last couple years where it kind of fell through the cracks. Typically, they were submitted at the same time. When you got the budget, you got legislation to correspond for the sewer rents. It got sent down now, so you have it ahead of time, and you guys can make your decisions come budget season, and not, forget that you have to change the rates in accordance with the budget.
So
Thank you,
what's-
Misty Georgia.
One question, is this something that we need to vote on both of them, or do you pick one of the two?
My understanding is there were two sent down offering two different percentages. I wasn't aware that they were sent down, other than I know that there was some question as to what the existing rates are and what was last passed. But I believe they're just the two different percentages up for the council's consideration as to.
Well, obviously, you would go with the lower one, wouldn't
Does the budget director have any say on this? Anything to say on this?
you? Budget director
Or
or the?
controller, excuse me. I just demoted you, excuse me.
Last year, if you guys remember, February 25, the legislation went in front of you, voted it down, it was a 4% decrease. So what Stephanie Warts would like is an average of 4% per year, just to come in compliance with her expenses. But as you said, Jack, come budget time, you can discuss with her and get the rationale for her.
All right, thank you. So we're gonna put this in, we're gonna put these two in committee. Is everybody all right with that? Thank you. The next one, Mark, this is for you to discuss with us. It's the, be ordained the controller of the city of Utica is hereby authorized and directed to make the following transfers. Demo contract services, $33,700, going into, demos, rental and demo repairs. Could you tell us a little about that?
Yes, so one of them was we had emergency demo, and it was 23,000 for tipping fees. We did not have that money in the account. And then, unfortunately, our demo license expired at the end of the year without me knowing. And they had to pay that, which was $300. When we paid it, they came back with an $8,000 thing for asbestos. So at E&A, we passed it. And Comptroller Miola and Katie were on board on it, so I don't think it's an issue.
Not Rockwell.
It was for emergency demo. Tell them Mark was for emergency demo.
Emergency demo.
Anybody have any problems with this? Katie, you okay with this? Any thought on
I
this?
say it the wrong way.
Sounded good to me.
Okay, so we're gonna vote on this today. The next one is an announcement of date of change for the February 18th Common Council meeting. Be resolved that the Common Council does hereby reschedule the regular meeting Wednesday, February 18th to Wednesday, February 25th in the Common Council. I'm good with this because I'm gonna be away.
That's all that matters then, right?
Right.
So,
Now, it's budget season.
anybody have a problem with this?
No,
Is
you're
it
good.
budget season, Joe?
Yeah.
That's gonna be a long day.
The next one was sponsored by myself. Resolution nominating a candidate to the Upper Mohawk Valley Regional Water Board. Be resolved pursuant to section 1226-E of the Public Authorization Law of the State of New York and the agreement between the city and of Utica Common Council and the Council of Oneida County Board of Legislators. The Common Council hereby nominate the following individual as a candidate for appointment to the Upper Mohawk Valley Regional Water Board by the Oneida County Board of Legislators. That would be Mr. Mark Ford at 1600 Parkway East, Utica, New York, 13501, for a 3-year term to expire December 31st, 2028. Further resolved, the City of Utica is hereby directed to transmit the name of the council nomination to the clerk of the county legislator and retain a record specifying the date of delivery therefore. Any problems with this? All right, so we're gonna vote on this. one is from Councilman Colosimo Testa. City of Utica resolution designated Miss McClellan's 5th grade class day, whereas the City of Utica is proud to celebrate its students who are the future leaders, creators, and dreamers of our community. Whereas Miss McClellan's 5th grade class at Albany Elementary School is made up of hardworking, curious, and determined students who show up each day ready to learn and do their best. Now is therefore resolved that the City of Utica hereby proclaim Friday, February 6th as Miss McClellan's 5th grade class day. Any issues with this?
No.
All right, we're okay with this then, right? Next one is an ordinance, adding section 2-29-136 of the Utica Code of Ordinance, be ordained that Article 5, sign regulations of the City Code of Ordinance shall be amended by amending section 2-29-136 entitled Billboard Sign, and any billboards that currently exist are permitted to continue to subject Division 6, Article 2, Chapter 2-29. Is somebody going to speak on this, or what's the story on this?
I can.
Please.
Between Stephanie and I, we can certainly. There was the council may remember that this body passed a moratorium almost 6 months ago. That was a 6-month moratorium, which is up within the next couple weeks. So this piece and the next piece, which addresses battery storage, was in response to those two moratoriums. As far as billboards, the moratorium was requested because we had our office had seen an uptick in the number of requests for zoning approvals and planning board approvals for additional billboards within the city, including one on the triangular site at the western gateway of Oriskany Boulevard into the city, which the zoning board actually granted approval for, but fortunately DOT thought better of it and actually denied it, or we would have had a big billboard on that site. I'm suggesting that there be no more billboards allowed in the city, and that would basically prevent any reviews by planning board, and that only existing billboards be permitted to remain.
And
All right, go ahead, Steph.
just for clarification, not clarification, but for the council's reference, there's 36 billboards that exist within the city presently. I do have some maps showing where they are. A majority of them are on the arterial and Oriskany Street, but they are starting to pop up, and people are getting variances, not just variances for their location, but variances for their size and dual boards. So that's what we're seeing. Essentially, right now they are permitted in a couple, they're permitted in the industrial and industrial mixed zones by a special use permit. But again, we think the total prohibition will start to eliminate the billboards that we're seeing and the volume that we're seeing them pop up.
I'd like to go around on this. Any questions, Katie, on this?
I mean, I understand that there's the concern about billboards. I don't have the same sentiment. I've never really had a problem with too many billboards, but I am willing to listen and hear out what the administration's thoughts and feelings are on it. That's all.
Robert?
No, I'm fine with it, thank you.
Joe?
Yeah, just to follow up a bit from our discussion at the committee meeting. So once a special use permit is granted, is there a renewal time down the line, or is it in perpetuity? Once it's granted, it's granted?
It runs with the land.
Okay. So, and I understand in this ordinance it does make mention of the fact that existing billboards are grandfathered in. Wouldn't it be best practice to put that in the language of the code itself?
So it is already in the code. The code already has a non-conforming use and certain other provisions. So the clause in here just says that they're permitted to continue subject to Division 6, Article 2, Chapter 29 is the non-conforming use provision of the zoning
Okay,
code.
so it essentially says it's no longer, or strike that, billboard signs expressly prohibited but for the signs already in existence. That's within the code, the 2-2.
Yes, and those,
right?
and
Okay.
pursuant to the zoning code, those signs can stay. You know, and there are some limitations, but they can't be modified, they can't be expanded. The use has to stay exactly the same way it is at present.
Okay, so what we're looking at now is whatever's locked in, if this is passed, that's it?
Correct.
Okay.
Frank? So you're saying that there's no more billboards anywhere else in the city, anywhere anymore? Just what's there now?
That's what we're proposing, yes.
Okay.
And I guess
No
we
matter
should-
where it is?
I guess
No
we
more
should-
on the arterial, no more anywhere?
Correct.
Just what's there now? But if the people that are on the billboard get off of it, can somebody else get on that same billboard?
Yes, it doesn't affect
It could be a
ownership.
different person?
Nonconformity isn't affected by ownership.
Okay.
Joe?
So I'm gonna be redundant, but that's me, so. Like, for example, the arterial, new business opens up, there's open area, they can never have a billboard. They can't come in front of zoning and like, you know, an amendment or a special permit or anything like that, it's done, it's cut and dry?
Well, I want to make sure we differentiate between billboards and signage for the business. If a new business opens.
No,
they
no,
want to do
I
the signage
understand
for the
that,
business.
right, I understand that.
Billboards are off-premise
Right.
signage.
Okay.
So yes, we're suggesting that there be no.
And same thing
no new
like on,
billboards.
okay, so there's no exception where they can come and do,
There still are provisions within the zoning code that you can apply for variances, but
Okay.
putting a harsher restriction
okay,
sends a message that, you know, we
Right.
don't want more billboards and we don't want, you know, these popping up with the exception of very, very, you know, specific circumstances for why a variance should be granted.
okay, all
One of the
right,
most recent that the zoning board approved was on North Genesee Street, fairly close to the harbor. I don't think that's a place where we want to see billboards.
right, whereabouts?
I don't remember the exact address.
I don't know the exact address. I want to say it's further down, closer to the canal.
It's 188 North Genesee Street. I'm not sure what property it is.
And so if that one got
Got approved, yes.
Okay. I'm good. I just want to understand.
Okay, please forgive me.
So, Joe, you okay with this?
Yeah.
You don't want to put it in committee, per se?
No.
Okay.
Well, it does have to go to committee. It will
Right,
need
right.
it will need a public hearing. So my recommendation is to put it in committee, but tonight at your meeting to call for a public hearing, along with a public hearing on the battery energy storage systems, just so that we can send out one notice for those.
Just a quick question, do we know the exact date the moratorium runs?
I believe it ends on the 25th. So, again, I think Brian sent everything to planning board, so planning board meets prior to the 25th. So as long as you call for the meeting on the before the 25th, planning board will meet, but as long as you call for your meeting on the 25th, and vote on it, you should be good. I guess if worst case happens, I can prepare a extension of the moratorium for another month, just to allow for the, board to, you know, pass.
So we're gonna put this in committee.
Did I?
And you're gonna call for a public hearing.
I didn't get it.
And I'm not done,
Okay.
I apologize.
I just have a couple questions.
ahead.
So there are billboards that are up in District 2 and 5 that are on buildings. Like some of them are kind of located on buildings. Will those stay too? There's like, and down by the brewery, I think, and then there's some like on property. The only reason why I am, because those are ones that specifically talk about lead, healthcare for people, Fidelis, things like that. I was just curious if those billboards will still stay going or if they will.
They would remain.
They would remain,
But
okay.
I don't believe they're classified as,
Is that advertising?
I mean, if it's advertising and not something for the business there,
No, it's not for the business there.
Yeah,
Then-
if it's off-premise advertising, it's.
Okay, because there are like, I was just curious, making sure that. Okay, thank you.
I had a question on this. You know, during the summertime, everybody sticks on telephone poles. Everybody sticks on telephone poles, you know, they're having garage sales. Is this considered a billboard?
no.
What is your definition of a billboard?
I have to look it up, but
Again, it's off-premise.
And should it be written into
It-
the
It's off-premise
legislation?
advertising. What you're referring to, I believe, is defined as snipe signs under our ordinance. which I don't remember the.
I have the.
So a billboard
But
is,
they-
a billboard is defined in the zoning code, and that definition is saying, we're not removing the definition. It's any sign which directs attention to a business, commodity, service, or entertainment conducted or sold whereupon the premises for which such sign is located or which it's to affect. Again, I think the understanding of billboards is large commercial signs, not the signs that you're posting on
So
telephone
should
poles.
that be written in this, what a billboard is?
No.
To be a more,
No, it's already in the zoning code, I'm not taking that out.
so, okay, so it's already in there. This is just to continue with the moratorium to make it final, is what you're saying.
But anything
Well-
with a garage sale though that we see, we take down because it's litter in a way.
Right.
Yeah, as I said, what you're talking about is considered a snipe sign, which in our code is defined as any sign of any material whatsoever that is attached in any way to a utility pole, tree, or any object located or situated on public or private property.
Ones like they want to sell your house and all that.
So when
Those
Joe
are lawn
Beatrice
signs.
puts
Those are
up a
illegal
garage
too.
sale at his house, we take it down.
They're different from billboards.
All right. All right, before I put this in committee, any more questions? All right. And final, well, Joe, we got, let me put yours.
Switch from an
Yeah, I'll pull it
analog
out.
to a digital
I got it.
Billy, so I wouldn't allow that.
And then, yeah, we're gonna do that one. And then
If it's
the
analog,
final
now
one,
it's gotta stay analog.
proposed ordinance, number 10, ordinance amending section 2-29-7C of the zoning code entitled definition to include battery energy storage systems. Somebody explain this to me?
I can talk on all of these, there's a couple pieces here, just to explain.
That's the
So,
last piece I got on this.
well, there's 1, 2, 3, there's 4 pieces in connection with battery storage.
That's, I only have one sheet
I
here.
got one.
Proposed ordinance 10.
Okay.
Go ahead. and then-
So I can talk generally. So again, back in August, we passed a moratorium. Brian had received a number of questions and inquiries about battery energy storage systems within the city. We have nothing in the zoning code regulating those. We do have stuff regulating other things of energy related. And the thought was we needed time to review to figure out what we wanted to do, where we wanted them to be. My understanding, if you're not familiar with what these systems are, and I have a very simple knowledge of what they are, but my understanding is they are essentially, large shipping containers that house, energy that they take off the grid during off hours and then sell and reuse it during high periods of energy usage. Other than that, I don't know much more, but I know that the state is pushing them. But I also know that there's a lot of concerns with where they're located because I believe there's issues with, you can't actually put them out with water. We had some discussions and I did do some research. The state came out with guidelines for these systems. So the piece that you have in front of you is the actual definition. We're just adding what the definition of battery energy storage system is. That definition came from the state. I pulled that directly. We're going to be adding that into the code. The second piece, which you don't have in front of you, designates the specific areas within the city that they would be allowed in, which would be the industrial district and the industrial mixed-use district, and they'd be allowed only by a special use permit, which would mean they'd have to apply for a permit. There'd have to be a public hearing, notice to property owners, and then a site plan approval.
Can you give us an example? I'm sorry.
Nope.
Can you give us an example where some of these storage units are like right now?
They don't exist.
Oh, okay.
There's
Not in the city.
not in the city.
Okay, so we're just being proactive to stop them?
We're being proactive because Brian, like I said, about 6 months ago, got a number of calls inquiring as to what the requirements were for the city if we wanted to allow them. I believe that was based on something that New York State did.
So these are,
What they typically look like.
these are like, inside these are like a battery or like, and who uses, like, what do they use for? Somebody's business or?
Again, public use.
The best comparison is much like solar. I mean, they use it, but they're pulling energy from the grid. It's not coming from.
But who's they? Where's the
So,
energy go?
a lot of them are being used to power data centers that are popping up around the country to help with AI. It's a big thing with AI. The belief is AI shouldn't take energy from the grid. You should take it from a separate source. If you take energy from the grid, you take it from everybody else. So these battery centers are popping up all over the country to provide power aside from what comes from the grid.
Okay, and what?
Yeah, more than I know.
What is our major reason that we don't want them for the?
We're not saying we don't want them. We don't currently have regulations governing their siting or how they're developed, how they look on the site once they're there. And we've gotten a number of calls, and I believe the city clerk's office has gotten a number of calls even recently. Developers are looking to put these in, and right now we don't have any regulations to guide where they go or how they look.
It's a huge growing business right now.
Yeah. And to be clear, there are, much like other, wind, solar, there are a lot of concerns with, having these systems in place. Again, we just said, you can't put it out with, regular, water. So the fire department has to figure out, how to handle that. And so the last piece of legislation that I sent down is the actual regulations, which would require, again, the special use permit. And there are specific things that the applicant would need to provide. A lot of those include, providing not just information about, how it's going to look, but, noise regulations, their safety information and providing that to the fire department, police department, codes, inspections, site access. There's a lot of different regulations for them that they not only have to apply when they do their site plan approval and as part of their special use, but as an ongoing, changes in ownership has to be shared. So there's a lot of things that govern that. Again, we're not asking for the council to act on this tonight. You can. It has to go to a public hearing. And I know that I just sent this down today because I was waiting for clarification that we could get it on the calendar for planning board. But take a look at it. We can answer more questions. It is very detailed. Again, I took, the model system from, New York State as to what they recommend for their regulations. I tailored it ever so slightly to fit the city of Utica specifically. Review it, and then if you have specific questions, I know one of the things that I talked about with fire and urban was adding a distance from any residential uses between the structures to prevent any fires. So fire is still weighing in on the distance that should be between them.
Is there any environmental problems with this? No?
Not
that I know of.
Just the same ones that are with all batteries. But, just so you know, that we don't get, we can't inspect them. They're really complex, the devices. So we make the business that's putting them in, hire a third party of our choosing. There's only a few people in the region that specialize in these particular types of plants. They review their designs with us, and hopefully reviewing it with that third party, I get some officers that pick up on it and can follow it. But they're really complex. I mean, this isn't, it looks like a backyard thing, but.
How are we gonna inspect them then? What's the?
So they pay for us to hire a third party of our choosing.
Is that written in the legislation?
No, that's written in the code.
Yeah, but there's also, they have to meet certain New York State standards, building standards.
It's really complex.
Yeah, they have a number of standards that they have to meet in addition to our code requirements. But also, they do need a licensed professional to be able to provide the plans, share them, get a building permit. So there's a lot of things that have to happen. But if you look through our zoning code, they're very similar to what we have for our solar energy systems. Not exactly, but our telecommunications systems. It's a lot of the same processes and procedures and requirements that they have for all these systems. It's very similar how they're regulated.
I'm just waiting for the second part to come out so we can at least look at it.
There's gonna be a lot of people that don't want them anywhere near their neighborhood, I know that.
They burn forever, you know, the fire stays, it doesn't spread, but it burns forever.
Yeah, never takes forever for it to go up.
Yeah, you can't put it out. There's all kinds of like containment and suppression system, like it's really, I couldn't read it if, you know, I'm not smart enough. There's like 5 people in the state that.
They're getting it for us.
Forceport?
They've been fighting, I know, it's
They're
all
getting it
kind
for
of
us.
thing I always see, I see.
Well, what's funny is Forceport is like.
Does it say
Like
danger?
on your way to there, on your-
No, it's like the Wild Wild West.
I know.
Everything's enforced. It's insane. Is it just me or is it cold?
So I guess it just needs to tell them.
Not cold to an Irishman?
I mean, it's comfortable.
Those of us with Ghanaian roots might be colder than those of us with Estonian roots.
No comment.
Okay. Maybe that's why poor people aren't skiing. That's what they just told me.
I'll wait if my wife ain't.
The Ukrainians are The Ukrainians.
So I don't know if there's a.
We got it.
Exactly what you said. From your email.
I don't think I would have made that big of an error.
So Brandon, are you suggesting that my characterization at the staff meeting was wrong?
Slightly.
Okay, alright. Well, I make a mistake every now and then. If you would have made the same accusation towards me, you wouldn't have been off.
Well,
Okay. So I thought you were a man of my own cloth.
His backyard in the summer is like Girls Gone Wild.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if I can be heard on the microphone.
I'm
Okay,
taking spring break
there's a person,
on Crestwood.
there's a person in the city that lives in a nice neighborhood, Sage Court. Okay?
Oh,
Is anybody from the fire department coming today?
He was describing
I
the
don't
parties his
know.
neighbor was having as part of a cold complaint. And I'm like, why are you complaining?
are you wondering about
He's like, it
this?
smells like
I just question you on that. Are they looking into this as well, or?
They've reviewed it. They know that there's
Yeah.
regulations. The only thing
You
that
know
they're
who
waiting to
complains.
give me an answer on, which is why the legislation has got a blank in it, is the provision about how far from a residential, from structure to structure, what the distance should be.
They're looking into that?
They're just looking at the distance.
Have we actually had any fires in the area?
We don't have any, we don't,
I mean, outside the area, you know, like,
where was it? There was one.
no, he didn't.
It was done.
The battery storage.
Because he said he's only taken a couple
Noonan.
3-pointers. I said he's actually at that.
There was one.
But that's John's offense.
Why are you scared if you miss it?
We're talking sports.
That's right. I tried
Where
to
was
tell
the-
Rob. I wish.
Where was the fire that you just told me? Watertown. Watertown.
Oh, the fire?
Burned for 5 days.
They had a fire.
There was one
they
downstate.
don't go out.
I believe there was one downstate recently too.
We had one near my son's house in California. It burnt the whole time I was visiting him down there.
So,
Very hard to get up. Okay.
yeah, she's born. So, I know they're grabbing them, but I just would recommend that you call for the public hearing so you can add both of those to the same, notice.
Trying to save paper?
Yeah.
adjourned?
No, we're still going. We're gonna,
So Jack, I'll just point out, so section 2-29, 387, there's a subsection D, which is left blank. That's what I'm waiting for fire to weigh in on, what they think the appropriate distance should be between.
all right, well, I'll read these off, and,
We're all going in committee.
they're all gonna go in committee, but I will make them official.
Except for the.
Except for the public hearing.
Resolution.
There should be a resolution calling for the public hearing.
I'll get to it. There it is. All right, so I'll just go over the top of them. All right. So proposed ordinance number 10 is that we explain ordinance amending
necessarily, but we need
section
regulations
2-2-7 of the zoning code entitled definitions to include battery energy storage systems. The next one is going to be ordinance number 11, ordinance amending section 2-29-125 of the zoning code use table to include battery energy storage systems. The next one is ordinance amending zone code to add this article to include battery energy storage systems, be it ordained that chapter 2-29 of the Code of Ordinance in the city of Utica shall amend to add article 13 entitled battery energy storage systems to read as followed. We'll put all these in and we'll discuss them later.
And again, just with respect to this, the moratorium expires on the 25th. I did include legislation extending the moratoriums, at least for this one. So if for whatever reason the council doesn't think that they're going to be able to act on it before then, I would recommend extending that for a little extra time.
And then, and 13, proposed resolution providing for a public hearing on the zoning amendment, whereas the city of Utica Common Council proposes amending to the zoning code concerning the battery energy storage system within the city. And 14, resolution providing for a public hearing, a zoning amendment, whereas the city of Utica proposes amending to the zoning code prohibiting billboards. Okay, that one's already, well, I guess we did that twice. So these are gonna go.
They're different.
Oh, this is a different one, I'll read it then. Resolution providing for public hearing on a zoning amendment, whereas the city, the Utica Common Council proposes amendment to the zoning board prohibiting billboards, whereas the proposed amendment were referred to the planning board on February 4th, 2026 for a report thereon, whereas the city of Utica zoning ordinance requires that before any amendment, supplement, or change in the text, there should be a public hearing notice. Whereas the city clerk shall cause to be published a public hearing notice at least 2 times, not less than 10 days before the public hearing. Now there be resolved that the Utica Common Council shall conduct a public hearing on the proposed amendment at its regular meeting on February 25th at 2026 at 7 p.m. in the Common Council chambers. All right, so these are going to go into before a public hearing. We're all set on those, right?
Yeah, you vote on those.
All right, so we can vote on that. All right, any questions before I close this?
Did you have
Two.
questions for the fire chief?
Well,
Two questions. First, I think we have to schedule a special meeting for the ski rates. I think that has to be 72 hours notice. Does Monday work?
Monday's fine.
Do we have a quorum? That
What time, 5:30?
5:30 work? 6?
And, Chief?
6?
The other thing is that, I was already told that you are, but just in case you want to say anything on this, these battery energy storage systems, what are you guys doing to look into that and put in your 2 cents on how we're going to finish the legislation on that?
So I let them know that I shared it with you, and that we were having some discussions about, knowing that there's fires, just what the appropriate distance should be between any structure, between, the battery storage and then a residential structure.
Yeah, so,
Excuse me, the chief has the floor.
Throughout the country, there's been a series of fires at some of these battery storage system farms. So my concern would be is if we allowed it too close to a residential area, there has to be evacuation distances, and a lot of these fires are taking 3 to 5 days to fully extinguish. You got to leave resources there constantly to monitor the fires. What ends up happening is some of the cells go into thermal runaway. It starts not only the main cell that overheated on fire, but it continues to propagate throughout the system. The technology's been around for a little while. They're still perfecting it, and I think we got to take follow New York State guidance and take a bit of a wait and see approach, and just be cognizant where we're going to allow these to be built.
Right, are we gonna like zone certain areas of the city where you could have these?
The legislation does provide for that they're only allowed in the industrial and the industrial mixed use.
Okay.
But some of our districts, so the industrial district does abut some residential. So the rationale for why there should be a distance is obviously if you have someone looking to put a battery energy storage system, somewhat near a residential property, that there should be an appropriate amount of feet distance between the actual storage and then the property that it's, the residential property itself.
All right. Thank you. Final questions going around, anybody? Go ahead.
What's gonna happen with these is, when people find out you're putting one in, just like solar panels, you're gonna get people to come in and complain that they don't want it. So how are you gonna act on that when that happens?
Well,
Millions
again,
of people have applied for solar panels
You
and
still-
been turned down.
So you still need approval, so it's a special use permit. So there is notice, there's a public hearing. The board can choose not to issue the special use permit. So it's not a guarantee, but it does allow some leeway for, these
'Cause
systems to.
You know you're gonna get complaints when people find out they're going in certain areas.
Yeah, I would suggest that whoever makes that decision be very cognitive of that and where they're going. Very important.
It would be the planning board that issues the special use permits.
Okay. Anything else?
Just those two housekeeping items again. So did we pin down a special meeting for Monday for the ski rates?
Monday, right?
Did we
5 o'clock or 5:30?
Did we say 6 o'clock?
6 o'clock Monday.
Do we have, okay. And also, our budget meetings. So we recently received from our clerk the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday dates. We have some members who are unavailable on Monday. Would everyone be okay with Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday? So you're just shifting, and we could put this in writing, just shifting that Monday meeting to Thursday. So we have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That would be police, fire, IT, purchasing, civil service, and mayor moving from Monday to Thursday. Everything else stays the same.
It'll be the 24th, 25th, and 26th.
That's right. Good? Is that, okay, same time?
All right.
All right. very
Thank
good.
you. I'm closing this meeting. Can I get a second? Second. Meeting's closed.
What's your, Jack said people should be cognizant
come to order. The city clerk will call the roll.
Aiello, Burmaster, Bitar, Carcone, Irvin, Beatrice, Wazlewski, Lomedico, Jeruzzi, all present.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence for the deceased members of the Common Council. Is there a motion and a second to dispense the reading of minutes from the previous meeting?
Motion. Second.
Thank you.
Public comment period allows 3 minutes per speaker. Our first speaker is Francis Brown. No, I'm sorry. You want to go first? Francis? Yeah, Francis likes to go second. Kamel Faraday?
Yeah, Fardan.
Fardan, okay. Carmel, Common Council provide you a copy of Section 3244, public comment period. Are you in agreement?
Yes, okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Good evening. I'm just here, I live in senior housing, I live in Marino, it's 415 Bleecker. Price Right is down the street. 501 Bleecker, that street across from the firehouse, has not been snowed in 2 years. It hasn't been shoveled. As seniors, my fellow people that I live with, we have to walk with carts in the street. We have to, some people are 65 and 70 walking down the street because we cannot walk on the sidewalk. And I'm just concerned if there's anything we can do about it. I'm hearing that the owners has been fined. Obviously, that's not doing anything. I was hoping that the city can shovel it. I see they come and shovel the park, Chancellor Park, why they just can't go across the street and just run through there one quick time to make a path for the seniors that live.
Can you say what building is this again? I'm sorry.
It's 501 Bleecker Street.
It's that APAC building, remember APAC?
The one that Bowers owned?
That Bowers.
Oh, that's nice.
They lost
Yeah.
their bankruptcy.
Okay, and then you also have Chancellor, they have mixed seniors in there too, so we all go shopping there. Many seniors don't have vehicles where I live, so we have to walk there. And it's dangerous to walk in that street, especially coming back from Price Right if you're on that side because the cars are behind you. So I'm just here just to bring up the issue. I don't know what could be done. I don't know what the options is, but something needs to be done. Even if we don't, give somebody a contract to go and do these empty lots or something, but just to ignore it, somebody's gonna get hurt. I can foresee it. That's it. That's just what I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Our next speaker, Francis Brown. Francis, Common Council's provided you a copy of Section 3244, public comment period. Are you in agreement?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Oh, taxes, how much we all dread taxes. With interest getting high and money getting low, what is Utica to do? According to the Urban and Economic Development Report in regards to a brownfield cleanup, as a rural city, Utica suffers from poverty, 29% versus 13% in New York State, and has a crushing property tax rate of $15.13 per $1,000, which is double the New York State median of $7.05 per $1,000. Over the past 3 years, taxes have increased 7.8%, 14%, and 3.2%. The mayor claims that we are in economic crisis, yet he wants to hold executive sessions to discuss pay raises and lock the public out. Just like the entry rebuild is not for security, but to prevent it and make it harder for people like myself to ask questions. How much is this barrier going to cost the taxpayers in this crisis? Then, Utica will have private security, not Utica police, at the front desk, costing the taxpayers even more. Mr. Glamini, tear down this wall. What needs to come up is the Nexus Complex that I had a chance to check out today. Wellness Wednesdays is a one-stop shop for many of the medical-related questions, including insurance, that we all know is real fun this year. Get your blood pressure checked out too. Deet, 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 deet. There's a killer out there. This killer is sneaky and silent. It can be lurking in your basement now. You will not see it or smell it. That killer's name is carbon monoxide. If it was not for Utica's beloved fire chief checking up on some numbers, I was getting off my stove, it may have taken out the Utica crier. Bob Marley hit it on the head. To say it bluntly, Utica needs to hold these bad actors accountable. A new task force is needed within the powers of the Common Council. Time to protect the common people. Pass local law number 4 of 2024, registration and posting of owners and managers' information and designated of agents. This will help hold these absentees and bad actors accountable for their mistreatments of other human beings. We all have a responsibility to those people that have no choice but to live and squander. Bob Carley of People's First. Thank you.
Thank you, Francis.
Mr. President, can I request us to go into executive session?
Need a second?
I'll second.
Joe, you just need to state the purpose. Not specific details, just purpose.
I'd like to go into executive sessions to discuss, this memo was put on my desk today, and I'd like to talk about it.
We all in favor?
No.
Do a vote, please.
Five nays.
Okay.
There's no common council guest speaker, no communication from the mayor, report of city officers. We'll start with Fire Chief Angersall. Chief Fire, the chief.
Obviously, we've had a busy January and a very tragic outcome from one of the fires, one of the many fires that we responded to in the past month. During the month of January, the fire department responded to 1,361 incidents. We transported over 600 patients to local hospitals. We had 29 reported structure fires in the month of January. 8 of them were working fires or second alarm fires or third alarm fires. Obviously, when we call a second alarm, that brings all on-duty firefighters to the fire scenes. Tragically, 2 occupants of a house on Jewett Place lost their lives during one of these fires. Earlier that same morning, we had several firefighters injured at 1014 Bleecker Street. They are all recovering. Thankfully their turnout gear worked the way it needed to and protected them. And, despite some minor setbacks, everyone, with the exception of one person, has returned back to work. Again, busy month. Firefighters have really stepped up. It's been a cold month. I can't emphasize enough, everyone, please make sure that you have working smoke detectors in your homes. Make sure that your egress, and that's how you get out in and out of your place that you live, is free and clear of obstructions. and have a plan if a fire happens. Also, please, if you're using space heaters, give them some distance, keep combustible items away from them, and continue to stay safe. And worked with Francis. Francis called, notified me he had an issue at his apartment, and trying to help Francis sort that out. He's been having some carbon monoxide issues, so we were able to get National Grid there and address some of that. Carbon monoxide calls are a pretty fairly common call in the city of Utica, especially during the winter months. Encourage everybody to make sure that they have a working carbon monoxide detector as well. That's it.
Chief, I have one question on that. One question on that. When people turn their stoves on and their ovens on to warm the place, does that increase your carbon dioxide?
The carbon monoxide, yeah, so most gas stoves, when they're initially fired up, you will get a slight increase in carbon monoxide. It's when that increase, or it keeps on increasing, or it stays at a constant level. There could be an issue with the device or the heating device. There could be an issue outside with the exhaust being blocked. So any problems, if your alarm goes off, just give us a call, and we'll get National Grid there as well to evaluate the stove or evaluate. What National Grid does is they'll come in, they'll evaluate all the natural gas using items, whether it's the furnace, the hot water tanks, gas stoves, and check them out and make sure that they're all working properly.
I mean, because most gas stoves, they don't have a vent unless, I mean, the newer houses will have a vent if you turn your gas stove on.
Correct.
But if
yeah.
you're just heating and you don't have a vent, is that creating an overload of?
It could absolutely increase the levels in the area during that time. Yeah.
So if they are using it, you would suggest they have a carbon monoxide?
Yes. Yep.
Tester in their house?
Yep. Yep. And actually, by law, you're required to have a carbon monoxide alarm.
Thank you.
Mr. President, before we go any further on this, I know that Joe made a motion to go in executive session. I'd like to make a re-motion to go in executive session in regards to an update on the lawsuit that was filed on this council's behalf. I think that Corp Counsel Stephanie DiGiorgio would be sufficient enough to give us an update, and I would just like to know what's going on. So I'd like to make a motion to go in executive session in regards to the lawsuit.
I need a second.
Second.
Votes, please.
Six yeas to go in executive session.
Thank you, Mr. President.
I'll be recusing myself from the matter as the, yeah, sure. Thank you.
Chief,
Just to start the meeting?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, we'll go back to city officers. We'll, Marcus Phillips.
In the
Commissioner
interest of time,
Coates?
I'll be brief because, you know, there was a session here, but, just, if you're gonna rent an apartment from somebody, you can always check with the codes department or city assessor to make sure that the apartment is legally formed. One of the problems we're having this week, this winter is that we're finding apartments that aren't meant to be apartments. And, you know, then you gotta put somebody out of a house. So if you're gonna rent a house, first check with the assessor or with the city codes department to make sure that the apartment's legal. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Commish. Our DPW Commissioner, Mark Sokolowski.
Yeah, I got two things. One, we are out snow removing. So if you guys see something we don't see, let us know. And number two, this goes to Councilman Irvin. We don't need the honest. That's it.
Thank you. Deputy Police Chief Ed Noonan.
For the month of January, the Utica Police Department responded to 4,000 calls for service, issued 360 traffic tickets, responded to 189 motor vehicle accidents, and made 284 arrests. Officers did a good job. Busy month. And as a resident of South Utica, I'd like to thank the DPW for all the work they're doing clearing the snow. I have no complaints.
Thank you.
Wow, how about that? I do need giving me credit.
It's to the DPW, not the commissioner.
Sorry. Really bad?
Brian Thomas, Urban Renewal.
Nothing to report.
Thank you. Stephanie DeGiorgio, Corporation Counsel.
Nothing to report.
Thank you. There's no cash report. Petitions from non-citizen appeals. We'll start with First District Council Member Katie Isle.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just letting everyone know, February 11th, Tuesday, is the next West Utica Neighborhood Association meeting at 6 p.m. at 5 Points Irish Culture Center. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you. Second District Council Member Robert Burmaster.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to echo on what Chief said over here, and what I do on my house is once a year I check my batteries, check my smoke detectors, keep them up, but I can't set a date, so I do it on my birthday, so it's easy to remember. So every time I get older, it just causes me more work.
That's smart.
And I
actually.
just thought I would pass that on because it's something you remember, and it does make a difference.
Yeah.
Other than that, thank you very much.
Yep, thank you. Third District Council Member, President Pro Temp and Committee of the Whole, Joseph B. Vitar.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a couple things as we approach the month of February and March here. We received our audit, our copies here recently as a council, and members of the public listening. We of course have our budget meetings coming up later this month, and I think February and March are certainly our busiest as far as the finances of the city go. So I encourage members of the public to continue to attend, continue to stream YouTube, and continue to reach out to the council members with any questions you have as we make our way through the budget, so we can incorporate that into our questions. Other than that, thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Fourth District Council Member Frank Carcone.
Yeah, I'd like to have our prayers with the firemen that fought those fires and had to see what they saw and their families, and you know, the DPW, Mark, and the police department for working in those terrible weathers, and just thank you. Keep it up. That's it.
Thank you. Fifth District Council Member Venice Irvin.
Thank you, Mr. President. The District 5 neighborhood meeting will be next Tuesday, February 6th. It's February 10th at 6 o'clock. And I'll remind everybody that it is Black History Month. And Utica Oneida County branch of the NAACP will be having their Black History program again at the History Center on Genesee Street, February 7th, this Saturday, from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. So if anybody's free, come check it out. It's usually pretty good. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Member. Sixth District Council Member Joseph Beatrice.
I have nothing tonight, Mr. President.
Thank you. Council at Large, Heather Wazlewski.
I have nothing for tonight. Thanks, Mr. President.
Councilmember and Minority Leader Samantha Callis-Mel Testa.
Thank you, Mr. President. There was just a recent letter to the editor that was written about me in regards to my absence of a meeting, and I responded, and I just wanted to read it on the record at the council, on the council floor. So it says, correcting the record correcting the record on the meeting regarding lead poisoning. In response to recent commentary from a member of the community regarding my absence from a meeting on lead poisoning in Utica, it's important to correct the record. In 2022, I introduced legislation specifically aimed at addressing lead poisoning. That legislation was placed in committee on February 2nd and discharged from committee on March 3rd. Council members Ayala, Burmaster, Friend, Miola, and Moody voted to discharge the legislation rather than to continue the discussion in committee. Myself, along with council members Beatrice, Williamson, and DeBrango, voted to keep the legislation in committee so the discussion could continue in a meaningful and substantive way before any final action was taken. I have participated in and supported multiple presentations and efforts related to lead poisoning. The appropriate and effective channel for that work is through committee meetings and the presentation of legislation where dialogue and transparency and accountability can occur. In this instance, I had a prior obligation to my children and properly informed those organizing the meeting that I was unable to attend the 6 p.m. meeting, providing sufficient notice for the meeting to be rescheduled so that all interested parties could participate. I did, however, attend the 7 p.m. meeting where I received the full presentation of materials directly from the same presenter who spoke at the earlier meeting. Rather than acknowledge these facts, the writer who represents the Democratic Women's Party of Oneida County chose to single out a mother honoring a family commitment instead of engaging honestly with the legislative history and process surrounding this issue. This is particularly troubling coming from individuals and organizations that claim to support women. I encourage Heather, who sits next to me, whom the writer clearly supports, and to present the legislation on this issue, perhaps even the same legislation I introduced in 2022, which could be co-sponsored and thoughtfully advanced through the proper process. Lead poisoning is a serious issue that deserves more than performative discussion. It deserves sustained legislative action, and I remain committed to addressing it through the proper channels. I wanted to read that on the floor because I think that it's important to explain my position in the history that's been done by this body. With that said, my son got Student of the Month today for optimism. It's amazing through all the negativity that I encounter, not only as a council person, but on a day-to-day basis from some people that surround me, that I am fortunate enough to have to raise kids with such positive attitudes. So I want to congratulate my son on that, and that's it. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember at Large and Majority Leader Jack Lemetico.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, I'd like to give my condolences to the family that was lost on the fire in Cornhill there. Just terrible. I know our fire department worked really hard to try to save those individuals, but sometimes just things don't work out, and it's a real sin. And you guys have been fighting. How many fires, Chief, this month again?
We had 29 reported fires and 8 working fires and a couple more that required.
Yeah, it's a tough job out there, and we really appreciate what you've done. And Mark, you've done a great job, and thank you for keeping the streets clean. And Ed, keep them arrested, keep them coming. Well, we needed some parking tickets now, so we could pay for you guys.
I missed that one. 418.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
Yes.
So, anyways, so
no parking tickets.
How
Snow
many
emergency
parking
tickets.
tickets?
418 parking tickets.
All right.
124 snow emergency tickets.
So that's
which are
good.
more expensive.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and thank you for everybody that works for the city.
I defer to Jack.
Yeah, okay, exactly.
So they listen to that snow emergency.
All right, and thank you and thank you audience that came today. Very much appreciated that you're here. That's it, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilmember. Can I have a motion and a second to introduce proposed ordinance number 1?
Motion.
Second.
Yep. Be it ordained that the controller for the city of Utica is hereby authorized and directed to make the following transfers of funds. A53-123-105 police unused sick, $20,000 to A59089-805 unemployment benefits, $20,000. Can I have your votes, please?
Nine E's adopted.
Can I have a motion and a second to introduce proposed ordinance number 2?
Motion.
Second?
Thank you.
Ordinance waiving residency requirement for position of laborer, whereas the city has scheduled multiple interviews for the laborer and individuals either do not show up or they do not meet qualifications. We are looking for individuals that are eager to learn and willing to work the night shift, whereas Mr. Britton would be an asset to the department as he is very eager to learn and ambitious, whereas the individually currently resides in Little Falls, whereas Mr. Britton would like to continue to reside outside the city limits, whereas 2.045B of the Utica Charter authorizes the Common Council by ordinance to waive the residence requirement in certain situations. Now it be ordained pursuant to 2.045B of the Utica City Charter, and for the reasons cited above, the Common Council of the City of Utica hereby waives the residency requirement provided for therein to permit the appointment of Michael Britton of Burt Road, Little Falls, 13365 to the position of DPW laborer in the City of Utica. Further ordained that this waiver applies to the individual in this position only and will not be applicable to any future applicants for the position unless otherwise determined by the ordinance of the Common Council. Can I have your votes, please?
Mr. President, I'd like to say something in my vote here. I'm hoping that the DPW, and I'm sure you are, Mark, going through all the different agencies looking for the hires.
We are, but the problem is, there's nobody in the city that are coming for these positions. This guy is actually a mechanic that we have to hire as a laborer to make him work to get that position. But I understand what you're saying, but it's not that easy.
I understand. I just want to make that clear. We have checked at all the different employment agencies, and this is just, we're just not getting a whole lot of people coming in.
No, it's all about the applying and the experience that we're dealing with right now.
Very good. I'll place my vote.
Okay. Thank you.
9 E's adopted.
Proposed ordinance number 3, can I have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Committee?
Motion to second.
Anyone opposed? Commit?
Can I ask why just Councilman LaMedico from the Comptroller's office was on there? Is there a specific reason that I wasn't called as a minority leader?
No, and you should have been, and I apologize for you.
Thank you. Just wanted to make sure.
And the next one as well. Please put her name on that.
Yes.
No, I don't want my name on it. That's already introduced.
Yeah.
You can leave my name off of it.
Next
Okay.
time,
I wasn't
Okay.
consulted.
Motion and a second for proposed ordinance number 4.
Motion to commit?
please. Second.
Okay, anyone opposed? Commit. Motion and a second to introduce proposed ordinance number 5.
Motion?
Second.
Be it ordained that the controller for the city of Utica is hereby authorized and directed to make the following transfers of funds. Demo contracted services, $33,700. Your votes, please.
I'm sorry.
9 E's adopted.
Can I have a motion and a second to introduce proposed resolution number 6?
Yeah, I'd like to mention that my name probably should have been on that one, and not just Colosimo Testis.
Can I have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Yeah. Announcement of date change for the February 18th Common Council meeting. Be it resolved that the Common Council does hereby reschedule its regular meeting on Wednesday, February 18th, 2026 to Wednesday, February 25th, 2026 at 7 p.m. in the Common Council chamber. Votes, please.
9 E's adopted.
Can I have a motion and a second to introduce proposed resolution number 7?
Motion.
Yep, a resolution nominating a candidate to the Upper Mohawk Valley Regional Water Board, Mark Ford, 1600 Parkway East, Utica, New York, 13501. Your votes, please.
9 E's adopted.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to introduce proposed resolution number 8.
I'd like to make a motion to keep this in, put this into committee.
To number 8.
Because I'm doing Community Readers Day on Friday, and I drafted the legislation so that I could show them for Friday, and then pass it after they
Do
can
you have
see
a
it.
second?
All right, we'll put it in committee.
Anyone opposed? Commit. Proposed ordinance number 9, calling for a public hearing. Can I have a motion and second?
Motion.
The number,
Motion to commit, no.
Yeah, motion to commit.
we're not okay to pass this?
Yeah, we'll get to the public hearing.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
this is commit and then go to
Yeah.
the public hearing. Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Anyone opposed? Commit. Proposed ordinance number 10, can I have a motion and second to put in
Motion.
committee?
Second.
Anyone opposed? Commit. Proposed ordinance number 11, can I have a motion and a second?
Motion. Second.
Ordinance amending section 2. Oh, we're gonna put this in committee too, can I have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Anyone opposed? Commit. Can I have a motion and a second to put proposed ordinance number 12 in committee?
Motion. Second.
Anyone opposed? Commit.
Motion to introduce.
I make a motion to introduce proposed resolution number 13. Call for the
Second,
public hearing.
Yep, resolution providing for a public hearing on a zoning amendment, whereas the Utica Common Council proposed amendments to the zoning code concerning the battery energy storage systems within the city, whereas the proposed amendments were referred to the planning board on February 4th, 2026 for a report thereon, whereas the city of Utica zoning ordinance requires that before any amendment, supplement, or change in the text, there should be a public notice and hearing, whereas the city clerk should cause to be published a public hearing notice at least 2 times, not less than 10 days before the public hearing. Now therefore be it resolved that the Utica Common Council should conduct a public hearing on the proposed amendment at its regular meeting on February 25th, 2026 at 7 p.m. in the Common Council Chambers, 1 Kennedy Plaza, Utica, New York, to provide the public with an opportunity to ask questions and offer comments on the proposed zoning text amendment. Immediately after the public hearing, the Utica Common Council may consider legislation that will amend the zoning ordinance to allow battery energy storage systems within the city. Votes, please.
Mr. President, I'd also like to include an additional piece, number 14, that calls for the same date, the same time for the same public hearing, except it's a resolution providing for public hearing on the zoning amendment, whereas the Utica Common Council proposed amendments to the zoning code prohibiting billboards.
I'll second that.
Votes, please. Yep, for 13 and 14.
Mr. President, I'd like to pull,
9 yeas adopted.
Mr. President, I'd like to pull proposed ordinance number 7 out of committee.
I'll second.
Want me to bring it up?
Go, if you got it, read it for him.
I got it right.
Yeah, I got it, thank you. Proposed ordinance number 7, ordinance amending chapter 2-16 of the City of Utica Code of Ordinances, be it ordained that chapter 216 motor vehicles and traffic of the City of Utica Code of Ordinances is hereby amended by adding section 216 184 entitled Large Industrial and Commercial Vehicles Prohibited in Residential Districts. Purpose and intent. The purpose of this section is to regulate the keeping of large industrial and commercial vehicles in residential zoning districts in order to protect neighborhood character, reduce adverse land use impacts, prevent the use of residentially zoned property for industrial vehicle storage, and provide clear and objective standards for the enforcement. This section is not intended to regulate brief or incidental stopping of vehicles for personal transportation, loading, unloading, or services. Your votes, please.
9 yeas adopted.
Anything else?
No.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Can I have a second? Adjourn?
Oh, hey, can I make a motion to re-adjourn very quickly? I'm very sorry. But since we have the audit, can we schedule a meeting for the presenters to come to us? I'm sorry. I'd like to make a motion to re-adjourn. While we're all
Need a
here.
second.
I'm sorry. What is a good day for everybody?
Bonadio hasn't gotten back to us yet about what day works.
Well, I think if we call a day, then they should make it a time to come. So what's the days available for everybody?
Well, we got a
We paid them
meeting,
like
we got a meeting
paid them
Monday.
$70,000. They should come on.
We're meeting on Monday with a special meeting already. Do we want
Say that
to?
again? I can't hear you.
So we're meeting on Monday as it is with a special meeting.
Okay.
So if you want to
Just
use
add
that
that
same
to
day.
the,
Add that to the agenda.
But we're meeting at 6 o'clock that day, so that might.
Can we meet at 4:30, 5 o'clock that day?
No.
I'm good.
Councilman.
No, I'm not
I
good.
can't
Councilman
go
Drews
either.
is working.
All right, so then we can call for,
I'm not good at 5.
that's the 25th.
Why not?
No, not the 25th. She's talking
He's a working man.
I can't come earlier.
I don't think
Okay,
Bonadio's
so
even gonna
then-
be able to get here for Monday.
Well, I think that we should have this before we start our budget discussions, before anybody makes any more assumptions on the internet of what our finances are in the city.
Well, hold on.
I mean,
So
you
our,
can just
our
read the
first,
that's really-
too.
I mean,
our
common
first budget,
sense.
our first budget meetings are at the end of February, but we want to make sure we give Bonadio enough notice here.
Sure.
You think they're
I
going to be able to
3
come by
weeks is-
Monday?
I think 3 weeks is more
I
than enough
have not
time.
back.
No, no, no. Well, you're talking about meeting on Monday.
Huh?
24th?
No,
Yeah,
she
I'm not
was saying
talking,
this-
I'm talking
Let's see
not
if they
till
can
we
make
schedule
it.
our actual
They're not gonna
budget
be
meetings.
ready for Monday.
I didn't know when you were talking about. I was talking about the third week in February.
Can you, wait a minute.
To schedule them?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. We have a special meeting on Monday.
Yeah.
This coming Monday that we're talking about.
yeah, no, I'm sorry, I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about
The Monday
a few,
before our
give them a
next
couple of
meeting.
weeks to present that to us. So I was talking about the week of the 24th.
No, it'd be the week of the 19th.
25, 26, and 27.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it wouldn't be. So this Monday, it would be, the following week would be,
no, I'm talking about right when we start our budget discussions, on the 23rd, the 24th, or 25th.
right. So you could have it on the 20, I mean.
Because I think one of your meetings, according to what I read, doesn't start till like 6 or something like that.
No, that's, why don't you do it on the week of the,
24,
week of
25,
the
26.
16th?
I'm not gonna be here.
I think we should have dates from Bonadio soon. We can still call it.
We don't have to make this on the floor. I think we could get a quorum for a
Who
date.
is talking to Bonadio? Like, why are you as an individual councilperson
Guys, let's
asking
figure- we're not
Bonadio
gonna
though
get
when they
into
can
this.
come and when they
We're gonna
can't
end the
come?
meeting.
I'm on the
Figure
board
it
of
out.
DNA,
We're not
so
gonna
it's,
I
go
mean,
on.
but it's
for
still,
the
it's
council.
not DNA. The 23rd, the 24th, and 25th.
So you were
Changed them earlier.
you were out. So
Okay.
we rearranged things. 24, 25, 26.
Are we
So that
sticking for
23
Monday at
goes
6
to
o'clock
26.
for
Yes.
ski rates?
Yes.
So it's not
Motion
the
to adjourn?
23rd, Saturday.
So then, that's what I'm saying. So then, are we available the 23rd for the
I'm not
Bonadio to come
available
in?
the 23rd.
Okay, so when are you available?
On the 25th. 24th, 25th, No, I'm not gonna be here on the 24th. I'll be available on the 25th. I'm gonna miss one meeting.
So why don't, okay.
Well, hold on. We could get a quorum for this off the floor.
Right. Why don't we do it on the week that the week that the original council meeting was gonna be? We can have a committee
I'm not gonna
meeting.
be here, Joe.
Okay, you're not, but some other
Nobody.
people.
I'd like to be here for
Nobody?
the budget.
Okay.
Budget time.
So then, the 26th, nobody's gonna be here, that Thursday?
No, we all are. We're all gonna be
So
here.
then let's
We're gonna
schedule the
meet
Bonadio
in-
group. I'd like to tentatively schedule them for the 26th.
As long as you don't mind that we would have already gone through two
The
budget
budget,
meetings.
I'm fine with these, but as long as we have it before we
keep in
actually
mind,
start putting budget
keep in mind
amendments.
the list of departments on the 26th is a heavy
I don't
heavy
think we
day.
should do it the same day as the committee meetings for the budget.
So if you have it in front of you, that
Okay,
those
so then
departments
I
on
don't
the
wanna
26th.
wait until March for them to come, so I think that we have to come up with a time for them to come in a reasonable time frame. That's why I'm asking, what is available for anybody, because.
And we haven't even checked with him to even know if he's capable
Right,
of coming
but with
on
all
that
due
day.
respect, we shouldn't have to check with him, Rock, because guess what? We paid like $70,000, and he gave us the memo that he said that he's gonna present to us. So, I mean, I think that if the body, we're gonna wait on one guy, what if he
So-
schedules it the day Jack's not here?
So Thursday, the 26th, you have police, fire, IT, purchasing, civil service, mayor.
That's starting at 4.
Okay, so
Or
then
sorry,
what?
strike that. Is it that 5?
And we have
That's
the
5.
council meeting on the 25th.
And you want to have them come that night?
See, that's my point. That's a heavy day on the 26th if you have the
Okay, so
audit that
then
day as well. 'Cause
we
that's
have
probably
to-
a 5-hour day.
We have to schedule it before.
That's fair.
Before we start working on any budget amendments.
I agree.
So,
How about the 24th?
I'm okay with the 24th.
25th?
I'm not gonna be here.
Yeah, I know, Jake, but you're the only one that's not gonna be here. I mean, that's really, that's a, I mean, it is what it is. I mean,
Motion
unfortunately.
to adjourn? I think we're all set. We
Can we at least schedule it for the week of that February?
I think by tomorrow we'll know more what Bonadio's schedule is.
24th or
Can we-
25th, are they heavy?
This is, what is the time?
24th.
Why?
The
why on those
24th?
three
Okay,
days?
so then can we ask Bonadio on the 24th? Councilperson Bitar?
We could do it next
Can we
week.
ask them for the 24th, see what their availability is, and if we have to readjust the schedule for,
Do you want them to come in before 5, or are we waiting until you do the?
Let's do this. Let's see what their availability is for next week prior to the 10th, and also the third week in February. So we can
Okay.
give them a few options to see what their
Okay,
availability
that
is.
works- that works for me,
Okay?
but just
And
as
then-
long as
and then
we have
could
it in
go
our
from there. We
idea
could-
of where we're going with
We
that.
could find a quorum, and maybe the president could call that meeting once we have a quorum.
Either the 24th or,
So that week, the week of the 23rd, because I think that's the Monday, so that week what their availability is, or next week what their availability is. So we could just give them some options, and then maybe go from there.
all right, thank you, I appreciate
Motion
it.
and second to adjourn? Second.